Morning, everybody. Happy Monday. It's the 25th of October. We're Signal Centre Talking Ball. I'm Joe Neighbour, joined by Steve O'Hare. Happy Steve O'Hare.
A very happy Steve O'Hare. The top team in London won at the weekend. West Ham beat Tottenham, and
Hang on a second.
the top team from the
I thought you were going to
northeast
say about Friday night then.
Yeah, Liverpool stuffed Man United out of sight.
Just a bit, yeah.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think his
Got to
name's
go,
been
isn't he?
changed. Yeah,
Got to go.
I did feel a bit sad for him actually. He has got that sort of like little boy face, and he looked like he was fucking in tears coming off the pitch at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, very embarrassing for the whole team squad and for Manchester in particular. Very
Yep.
embarrassing. You must be very embarrassed, Manchester, this morning.
I think they've got Spurs and then Man City next, so
Right. So
yeah, just
should
cut them
have
easy
no
fixtures.
problem with Spurs, obviously.
Yeah.
But Man City could be a bit of a drubbing because
Indeed.
they won't take the foot off the pedal.
No. Anyway, interesting week ahead. We've got the FAANG earnings getting underway today, starting off with Google. Is it today? Alphabet, sort of, should I say, and Facebook as well. So and Amazon and Apple all this week. So it's all kicking off. So yeah, interesting to see how that goes. There has been a reduction in bullish bets according to the Bloomberg article that I read this morning. They seem to be fizzling out as the open interest in call options for the FANG stocks has dipped down to its lowest level since May 2020, which is quite interesting. It's a nice chart on the blog post that I'll put up at the end of this, which you can all have a look at. What else we got going on? So UK Chancellor Rishi Sunak is set to announce an 8.1 billion injection of funds into the National Health Service this week as part of the budget and the government's efforts to clear the backlog caused by the pandemic. The boost is one of a few major giveaways likely as Sunak aims to restore rigour to public finances after building up a record debt burden. He also said that he is alive to the danger of accelerating inflation and the danger that poses and the cost of servicing the national debt. So that could be quite interesting too. The Turkish Lira fell to a record as the country's latest diplomatic spat gave traders another reason to sell the struggling currency. We might have a quick look at some of the charts there. Really big move to the upside on dollar Turkish I saw last week, and it's up another 1.8% as well this morning by the looks of things. That's pretty much it as far as I've seen on the news affecting markets today. So let's get stuck into some charts, shall we? Steve, do you want to start with anything, or should we start with FX today? What do you reckon?
Yeah, well, start with FX then, as the dollar sort of seems dollar Turkish. Yeah, it looks pretty crazy, man.
This is dollar index up on the chart. This is the bullish channel that I've been speaking about for a while now. It's in consolidation mode. There is a big level of support at 93.43, which seems to be holding. And as this continues or prolongs, we've got the upward channel sort of starting to become relevant as well. So I think we will see some reaction from here and a potential move to the upside from the dollar index, but at the moment it is consolidating around this 93.43 level. So nothing really for us to get overly excited about at the moment. And as a result of the weakness in dollar index, that means we're going to be seeing strength in euro US dollar, but that still remains trapped below this resistance level here at 116.64. As you can see, there's been a number of touches at this level, but a failure to overcome it at the moment. And that's from this previous swing low here that we posted on the 20th of August. So waiting to see what happens with that today, whether or not this latest bout of dollar weakness is going to continue, or whether or not it's just been a mild pullback and a corrective move before a continuation higher. Looking at cable, that is higher today, but bit of well, I don't really know what to say about this, to be honest. I know it's obviously well traded, but it's rallied into this downtrend resistance line. It poked its head above it, then reversed all of the gains that we saw and has moved lower, but posting a bullish engulfing today. So super difficult to get any sort of read on this at the moment. So do be careful if you're trading it. I just can't really see anything in this right now. Looking at euro sterling, this is quite interesting. It's sort of down at these previous lows down here, the previous swing lows from the 11th of August, but we are seeing some interesting looking candles forming at the moment. A really big impulsive move to the upside on Friday, posting a bit of a doji today, so we are sort of hanging in and around this support zone at the moment. If we see a clean break above this 10-period exponential moving average, which is highlighted by the blue line, then we may see a move to the upside in this, what maybe is a wedge pattern or an ending wedge pattern potentially. Overall, the trend remains pretty bearish, so I wouldn't be too excited about that. But we could get a decent move to the upside for the speculators to try and capitalize on. Looking at the riskier assets, we've got Aussie dollar moving higher once again today. So talking about a double bottom pattern here potentially forming in recent weeks. We've seen a break up to the upside. We saw a confusing candle posted on the 21st of October, engulfing all of the previous day's session, producing a bearish outside day, but we have remained above the support level that we've got now at around about 74.50, and we're posting a big move to the upside today, so potential for continuation higher there. Steve, have you just got changed? Done like a Superman trick there?
Yeah.
Nice.
I thought you look smucking fart, so I thought I'd do the same, mate.
Oh, you could have left the camera on so we could see.
No, you don't want to see that. that'll put people off their breakfast.
Fair enough. Aussie Yen, this is rallied into this big resistance level up here. I've traded this a couple of times on the gun to the head trade challenge last week, in at this 85.80 level. Bit of strength today after a bit of a pullback. I have to wait and see where that heads next. But I think from a risk reward perspective, I'd prefer to be selling that into this resistance here, targeting a pullback to this kind of support zone down here at 82.28. Let's have a look at some of these yen pairs again. So euro yen, bit of a pullback after a severe bout of yen weakness, but seems to be picking up again today. And finally, I'm going to take a look at this dollar Turkish trade. So this is dollar versus Turkish Lira, talking about this weakness in the Lira itself, and it's been just one-way traffic really. We're up at these levels up here above, or around about 9.8. God knows when that was last relevant. We have to go back some time. Let's have a quick look at the monthly just to try and speed this up. It may even be the highest it's ever been. Let's have a look. Yeah, my chart doesn't go back long enough.
Well, definitely the highest it's been in, what, 12 years?
Yeah, since 2008.
Yeah, 13 years.
Yeah, so no sign of that slowing down. Keep buying dips by the looks of things is the order of the day there.
Cool.
Okay, that's it from the FX front. Steve, what you got?
I'll start with indices. Obviously, while I was away last week, it decided to take its chance and rally. Me being the big bear of all these stock markets, the big bear that's been battered over the last 13 years. So yeah, let's take a look at Ftse, looking pretty strong, trying its best to get up to the yearly highs again. 72.50 we've got as the high this year, and yeah, working really hard to sort of like push up towards that again. Good price action over the last couple of days, bullish engulfing on Friday and pushing higher again this morning. 72.50, as I say, it looks, it's only 15 ticks away, so it looks like it's going to take that out. Well, I haven't got a weekly on there. Should have a weekly there, Stevie boy. Here's the weekly, and how are we trading in terms of, let's get rid of that, let's get a fib on there. Above the 78.6, so looking pretty tasty really, looking like it should continue higher. We are in this sort of like wedge type pattern, and we have been going sideways. We're at the top of the range, so be interested to see if this does kick on this week. There's the daily chart, 4-hour chart looking pretty strong, no sign of any correction at the moment. Positive momentum building again, so it looks like it's got enough strength to kick on over the next day or so at least. On the DAX, we saw a hanging man candle last week, so that wasn't the greatest candle to see after this morning star formation that we posted from the reaction from the 14,800 level, which was, you know, this has got potential to form a bottom on here. Obviously, it's nice to see it at the bottom of the trend, but it will still be a type of double bottom. So if we get a break above this level, the all-time high, 16,031, then there's good potential for it to kick on even higher, and that would be maybe a 1,200 point move to the upside. So yeah, looking pretty tasty there. Yeah, the last week's candle, as I say, not great, but it has closed near the highs. So we only need a little bit of positive momentum this morning, really, to get above the 15,630 level. And that will open up the upside. So maybe a little bit of a bullish flag forming here as well. Let's see if we can highlight that a bit more. That would be a bullish flag if we break above there. So yeah, 15,630 for me is potential for further upside. Looking at the Dow Jones all-time high posted last week, 35,765, taking out the previous all-time high at 35,630. So looking strong again this morning. It's got off to a great start this week as well. So no real signs of that slowing down either. As we've said before, really feel like we've got a little bit more of a explosion to the upside to sort of wash out any naysayers in the market before we do have some sort of correction. It does feel like this is one big huge bubble, and we've been talking about it for a long time, and I'm sure it will pop one day, but who knows when. The tech sector, the Nasdaq, filled with tech stocks and looking pretty positive as well. Morning star formation formed and kicking on quite aggressively. The all-time high on the Nasdaq coming in at 15,708, only 300 points higher. So that's just a day or so's trading really to get it up to there. Yeah, looking pretty positive, and we got obviously the earnings out this week from the tech stocks. S&P, new all-time high in the S&P, 4,560 against 4,551. So took it out at the end of last week. Nice price action from Friday. However, if we look at the 4-hour chart, we did sort of like post a bearish outside candle. But again, once that gets taken out, there's plenty of potential for the upside. Bearish momentum is now sort of reversing. We're seeing a little bit of positive momentum coming over the last 12 hours. So it looks pretty punchy to start the week on the indices, the US indices. Aussie 200, that's looking pretty positive as well. A couple of good weeks in succession. Well, 3 good weeks in succession, and we've already made a new high, and really sort of challenging the next levels, coming in around about 7,500, only 60 points away on the Aussie 200. So that looks good for further upside as well. China 50, we've talked about 14,500 level. That for me, that'll be the real indicator. We formed a sort of hanging man type candle. So although it's a positive week last week, it's not the best candle to sort of like to start off the week with. I think we need again to take out this last week's high, basically. Get above 16,300. We do face pretty tough resistance. This was the support level coming in at 16,438. That was at the previous swing high, and they bounced off there 3 or 4 times before finally breaking through in July, and it looks like we're heading that way. So further upside expected, another 300 or 400 points on the upside before we face the real tough resistance in China 50. Hang Seng looking strong as well. Again, we've had a bit of sideways price action over the last 3 or 4 days, but it won't take much to really challenge them highs, and then target probably decent, better resistance up to the 26,800 area. Nikkei, not as good really. It's held on the last couple of days, but is in the middle of this evening star formation. So it really needs to recover quite strongly into the start of the week before we can get excited about this. So a little bit on the back foot for the Nikkei. Taking a look at commodities, that just seems to be going on and on and on. The weekly candles look really positive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So still a few more to go before I start getting a bit itchy. Hanging man candle last week, again, not my favorite candle to see when you're trading, you know, at really sort of like important highs. But we have kicked on again at the start of this week. This still feels a bit forced. Feels a bit manipulated. Should I be saying that? Who knows? But we look to be targeting this 78.6% fib retracement level. So I'm still happy to sort of like be buying dips in this. There's nothing to sort of like indicate that it's stalling. Maybe it's slowing a little bit. We're getting some bearish divergence in it on certain time frames, but not enough for me to confidently say good time to fade this. Really need to see a weekly candle break back down below the lows, or a negative weekly candle, a strong negative weekly candle, to sort of give us any sort of indication that we may stall. Again, on the daily chart, we got these hanging man candles, but then you know, bullish engulfing on Friday. So it's in this 4-hour bullish channel that we've been showing for a few weeks now. And this Ichimoku cloud, you know, providing great support again. Last week on the Thursday, just touched the top of the cloud, and again later on the Friday morning, again touched the top of the cloud and reacted higher. So still in the middle of that range. No reason to sort of, like, as I say, change tack there. Buy dips only in oil at the moment. Maybe redraw this channel here ever so slightly. This is the first point, second point, third point. It's a pretty strong channel and looks potential for further upside as well. Once we clear the 85.50 area, I'll be more excited about this. And obviously we remember the weekly chart. We still haven't taken out the 2018 October high, which is we have done in the WTI, but Brent crude hasn't. So there's a decent resistance, 86.62, $1.40 higher. Great opportunity now, start of this week, to test that level and see what sort of resistance we get from it. Gold in this bullish flag formation that I've been talking about for a long time. Still fancy prices higher, $2,500 at some point next year. Yeah, we're getting towards the top of this downward trending resistance, part of the channel. $1,800. That's for me a psychological level only. There's no real reason to sort of go either way, really. I think we are mid-range. We've got the support down at 1677, which we had that Sunday night low volume, high volatility spike lower. But we've got the real resistance at 1834, and for me that would be the real test of whether gold is turning. Obviously, dollar's been a little bit weaker over the last couple of weeks, and that's led to a little bit of a comfort for gold, and that's moved higher on the back of it. We spiked higher to $1,814, so that'll be interim resistance before the 1834. Really need to break that 1834 to get the bulls in charge again. Otherwise, I feel we're going to lose a little bit of momentum and move lower over the coming week. Silver's performed pretty well as well. That stalled around about 24.85 and reacted lower, but trading around 24.50 at the moment, so still looking pretty good. Getting towards overbought, so be a little bit wary of this. It could be an ideal time to fade it if you are a little bit way inclined to sort of sell into this dollar weakness, and we'll see how that plays out. On the crypto side of things, we're still hanging about the all-time highs, sniffing about. It broke higher on the 20th. That was the day I was away. 67,068. Let's put a nice price label on there. 67,000, we'll call it. around, nice round number, and reacted back down lower, just below the 60,000 level. So 60,000 is the support. I think there were, people talk about this over the weekend. Let's make it just, well, it comes in at 59,000, 59,500 here. Let's make it a little bit chunkier so we can see it. Let's even make it like dotted, so yeah, highlights a bit more. So yeah, we've had a little bit of price action dipping down to this level and finding support around here. For me, this has potential to reject. We've got a bearish engulfing on the daily chart, which is governing the price action at the moment, although we've seen a nice spike higher this morning, traded around 60,700, back up to 62,800, so nice 2,000 points there. But yeah, wouldn't get too excited about this until we actually clear the 67,000 level. I still feel we've got, there's a little bit of, I don't know, what would you call it? I know Greenspan would have a word for it. This type of mentality where you sort of, oh, it can't go much higher. It should go higher. People just like batting this Bitcoin about and not really, for me, it's not really showing any real direction. It's you can't argue against it, but potential for a topping formation. I don't know. I like to sort of read into these and trying to find nice areas to fade it, because it does trade really well technically. So the thing for me, all the other coins like Cardano, it's like not really showing any signs of
Is it?
all-time highs. No, it's just sideways, and that had a great high at 310, but it's just not getting up there. Ripple, not going sideways. Ethereum is the only one that's really sort of like tracking Bitcoin as well. Obviously, it's like a very well traded crypto. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still,
I
the
think that's got
jury's
to be a
out
bit
on
of a
this.
concern, hasn't it? That the fact that everything else is sort of flatlining.
I think it is.
Is it some divergence of some sort?
Yeah, you would, if you track Bitcoin against the other cryptos, you definitely see this is the one that they're sort of like seemingly forcing or pushing. It doesn't take much to manipulate crypto. It's not like a well-established commodity market. It's very easily manipulated.
Particularly the
So
smaller ones, you'd have thought.
yeah, but I think sort of like we seem to sort of like have a focus on one in particular nowadays. I mean, we had
Well, look at
Cardano a few weeks ago.
that Dogecoin. That was
Yeah,
just
I
went
think that had,
stupid, didn't it? Look at it
yeah,
now.
was
DOGE BTC.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and there's another one called Shibu or
I
Shibu
was going
or
to say shitcoin there. Shiba Inu coin.
Shibu.
Shiba.
Yeah, I know that they're sort of like, it's just people getting sucked into parting with their money very easily by very clever marketing.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't really know much about it. Don't really know enough about it to be getting too clever with it. But technically, looks shibu and dodgy.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. That's a nice comprehensive roundup to start the week. So hopefully that's going to help people plan out their week ahead. On the gun to the head trade from last week, only a trade because you weren't here on Friday.
Oh yeah.
I went short for the second day in a row on Aussie Yen, made 0.91R. So that will do. Share the screen. There it is, 74 ticks.
Okay, I'll have to
So
double check that, mate. Just
yeah,
I know I was catching you last week without doing too
I made
much.
1.5R while you was away.
Nice
Okay,
one.
I'm going to go first if that's right with you, Steve, because I've
Of
got something
course.
ready to go. I'm looking at dollar index. We're just talking about it on the daily. So bottom end of this channel, support around 93.43. Hoping that we're going to see some dollar balls step back in. What I was thinking as a catalyst, maybe we've got these tech names in the US reporting. The bullish bets have faded. So if they miss estimates or if there's a bit of commentary in there that the market doesn't like, then that may prompt a move out of these riskier assets into safer havens, of which the dollar may be considered as one. Currently trading at 93.54, so trading at the lower bounds of this, or where there is some clear support seeming to be forming. Going to put a stop loss at 93.44, targeting a move to 93.93. So looking for 3.75R on the dollar index today.
Nice one.
That give you enough time?
Yeah, it did actually. I'm going to fade gold actually this morning. We're trading at $1,800, so nice round psychological number. As I said, we had a spike higher on Friday, got up to 1814. On the 4-hour chart, there's a bit of a bearish engulfing candle, but there's a bearish outside candle now on the hourly chart. We've broken above this trend line, as you see, been down and retested it, and then formed this bearish engulfing candle. Now, has it just retested that downward trending resistance to give it enough power to go higher? So as I'm analyzing this, my thoughts are moving. However, Joe, you're going for a bit of a stronger dollar. If we do get that stronger dollar, we should see this weaken. So let's go for a short in this. We're getting a short at 1801. The stop on this, I'm going to keep quite a tight stop. Let's go for 5 ticks. 1806 just feels like too far away. Could I go 4 ticks?
It's going to be a tight stop.
Yeah. Is that not tight then? It's not, is it? So yeah, I'm going for 4-to-1 risk reward on this.
Oh, yeah.
Targeting a move back down to 1785. My stop is at 1805. Already a bit offside. Feel a bit nervous about this one now. No, that's all right. That's all right. Go on.
What was your entry?
1801 and a half. No, 1801.
Okay. Okay, cool. So we've already had German IFO index out today. The business climate index was expected to rise to 99.5. I haven't seen what that's done, but at 1:30 today, we've got US Chicago Fed National Activity Index. The previous reading was at 0.29. So they are considered to be the only high impact events today. Facebook is what everybody will be watching later on. The tech giant is expected to report improved earnings, but that's comes hot off the heels of what we saw with Snapchat last week, which dived almost 27%. So we will be keeping a very close watch on this today. It's expected to be quite a busy one for economic activity and macroeconomic events. We've got the UK budget this week, we've got the US GDP, and also a rate decision from the Bank of Canada and the European Central Bank. So plenty to keep us interested this week.
Nice one.
Lovely. Okay, let's wrap it up there then, Steve. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll be back tomorrow morning.
Cheers, Joe.
Bye-bye.